Isn't now though.
Not here. What's up, John Wanks?
How are you doing? It's big with you. You know, that fucking, that everyday carry guy, he's butthurt since I blocked him. Trying to tell people I blocked him because he said CZs are gay. The truth of it is you told him about CZs being nice. He come back and said he didn't understand it or didn't like them. I came in and told him he needed to try the gun other than at a firing line, you know, actually move the gun. He came back and insulted me, and that's when he got fucking booted. But for some reason, he doesn't want to admit that, but that's all right. Cleaning the Romulus and dreaming about that TSO2. There you go. Nothing wrong with that. We'll kill an hour or so. See if we can't get some views. Kind of hit or miss during the week sometimes. Joe, how are you doing? How's your day going?
Seems this is just garbage.
I don't know. Not my shit.
Yeah, it is.
Your shit belongs to your mom, not me.
Okay. Right now, on computer code.
Yeah, he's a tool, dude. He talked all kinds of shit, and it's funny, the next day I went in his channel and I asked him why he was talking shit. And his initial response was, oh, I'm just trying to have fun. You could always talk shit back to me, and listed what he wanted me to say back to him. I'm like, no, not worth my time. And then the next day he went and did a post on Instagram and then sent me 17 collab requests. 17. I told him no each time.
Yeah.
And I caught his live later and he denies the whole thing, so I posted the stuff. And he's like, no, you made that all up.
Yeah, it's computer code if it shuts off.
FV 223 DMR, how are you doing, man? How's your day going? So I heard a nationwide suppressor and SBR restriction ban. I don't know what you mean by that. Elaborate. So banning suppressors and SBRs? Yeah. Clarify, I'm not sure what you mean. But 223 DMR, how are you? It's been a while since I actually chatted with you. How's everything going? What you guys got going on for Thanksgiving? We don't have shit going on. It's just gonna be my wife and my kids. I think we're gonna do Thanksgiving lunch. She's gonna go out to her dad's in the evening. I'm doing good. Kids are doing good. Obviously the weather's cold now. That kind of sucks, but it's okay. We found some matches. Last year we couldn't find any indoor matches we could shoot. This year there's all kinds of them posted, so we'll find some more yet. There's more to find, but that's a good thing. Usually we have to stop shooting in the winter or just go shoot at indoor range. But we definitely found some matches, so that'll be all right. Oh, yeah, I don't know. I guess I haven't followed that. You know, my state we're allowed to have SBRs and suppressors, so I know there's states out there that they restrict NFA items. I couldn't tell you which ones they all are, but my state is definitely not one of them. Like always, any firearm legislation's an infringement of our Second Amendment, but there's some rules and laws and regulations that make sense. Violent domestic abusers, yeah, they shouldn't have firearms. Repeated felons, yeah, they probably shouldn't have firearms either. I also saw on your shorts the Gold 92 gave. My kid did. So he didn't shoot the gun very much. I mean, a couple of times over the last few years, he decided he wanted to use it for an IDPA match. And when you rack a Beretta 92 FS style gun, be it the M9 or 92 or whatever, they have a decocker. And when you grab the slide, you activate the decocker. Well, they're not spring loaded. They don't go back to the firing position. So if you forget to put it back, when you go to fire the gun, the trigger's dead. I mean, the trigger will move, but nothing happens. So that caught him a couple times. So I think it's funny, the reaction he had when he was done. I mean, he was laughing so hard he was almost in tears. Everybody else was laughing because we all knew what he did. But, it's just funny. I should be doing my Yeti Cowboy shoot in January if enough people sign up. Yeah, I think it'll kind of depend on what the weather is. On the 6th, we have a shoot in the pier. It's a night match, so that'll be kind of fun. I'm gonna run Stifler's gun for that. Try to get that some match footage. So it's set up and ready to go, zeroed. So that should be fun. That should be a fun match. It's an IDPA match, so it's that type of shooting slow. It's not shoot targets as fast as you can. You gotta shoot them real methodically, and there's a lot of rules. I'll be here in the background listening as I clean the Romulus. There you go. So, but we found, I don't know if you're interested, Joe, we found January, February, March matches on Saturday mornings in Lodi, Wisconsin. So you got to sign up for them early, but if you're interested, you can come along. Give you some gear and you can try. You got to pay your own match fee and bring your own ammo, but I'll give you the equipment to use. Get a Cimarron 1887. I got one recently, and my only complaint is it only fitted 2 3/4 shells, but it's awesome. It holds 5. There you go. You can slam fire that too, correct? That's easier than rebedding your 4.223. Yeah, 2 MOA at 100 yards is kind of a letdown. Rebedding stocks, sometimes, I don't know if you put them, but put the bedding pillars in them, the little metal posts that you fit. Some people use them, some don't. I used to use them. And then got a Duraglass from Brownells. 1887's lever. I don't know. I'm not super up to date on the old firearms. Yeah, because it's lever gun. That's what Joe just said. But, and you to Cast, thanks for stopping in. I guess I didn't say hi, but how are you doing? Hope you're doing well. Appreciate you stopping in. We don't really have much going on. Just like I said, we'll kill alive, try to keep them YouTube algorithm gods alive. We haven't really done much exciting stuff. We had a night match couple weeks ago now. That was kind of fun. The pre-Thanksgiving chat, yeah. So I don't know if we'll get another one in. We might get one in on Friday or something too. But kind of a slow time of year until we get some more shooting in. It sucks that it's made in China, but it checks off my dream gun spot now. I got to get a PSL to hit some top level dream guns. There you go. PSL, definitely a decent gun. I remember back in the day when them first started getting imported again, you could buy the Romanian ones, and they were like, I don't know, $1,600, $1,700. And I looked at them and I blew it off because you could buy a really nice AR-15 for 12, you know. Glad to see you still doing the YouTube thing. I still do it every once in a while, but kind of gave up. Yeah, I haven't seen too much of your stuff, Dr. Guns. I leave comments every once in a while. You definitely don't jump up much in the algorithms, but yeah, I kind of miss chatting with you. We used to chat quite a bit. Yeah, for sure. If I haven't said it, you know, everybody double tap that screen for me. Show some love. Nothing else. It's a way to flip the big middle finger to YouTube and their anti-gun policies. So I will let you know about the shoots. This depends on my fishing trip this schedule this winter. Yeah, let me know, because like, you have to sign up about a month ahead of time, so I can tell you when we got to sign up or whatever. But it's limited shooters, so basically you have to, as soon as the open enrollment opens, within about 20 minutes to a half hour, you gotta register. Otherwise you don't get to shoot. There's a lot of people that want to shoot during the winter, so you gotta be on it. Rob, if you don't know what the like button is, it's the thumbs up. There you go. Hey man, you know, honestly, putting the hearts and the little emojis that pop up, that stuff actually helps your algorithms too. It shows engagement. So even if that's all you're all doing, throwing hearts and stuff up, I'll take it. Any of that stuff helps. And we're starting to round up on 16,000 subs, so I would definitely like to get that. I had a goal for the year. I was hoping to double the channel in about a 6-month period, and it didn't happen. I'm going to fall short of that goal, but a couple thousand subscribers short, but that's okay. I'm still doing well. All right, DMR. We'll see you in a little bit. What guns are needed? Just a pistol, semi-auto pistol. I would say generally a high capacity 9mm. It's USPSA, so if you decided to shoot your 45 or whatever, you just need a bunch of magazines. Most courses of fire, the max a course of fire can be is 33 rounds. So if you're shooting 7 or 8 round magazines, you're gonna need a lot of them. We should support one another, keep anything positive to it going. Yeah, I agree with you, man. Show that support. I'll be honest though, sometimes it's hard to show support to people. They get butthurt and start talking a bunch of trash. But that's kind of the way this stuff goes. I got 6 megs for the 45. All right. Is that what you're thinking of using? Otherwise, I definitely have Glocks you could use. I got that Gersan you could use. Trying to think what else I have right-handed holsters for. That would probably be one of the 2 guns, would be either the Glock or the Gersan. But you could shoot the 34, you could shoot a 17, you could shoot the Stifler one. Fun game to play in the winter. Go to the range in -2 weather and no gloves. Try to load a Mosin. A lot of mistakes lead up to that, and it wasn't fun. Yeah. I don't know. I shoot in the winter, and we do shoot some rifle and stuff, but not very much. You know, it's not enjoyable. You know, people that think you have to go out and get frostbite because it's part of training, it's silly. You know, everybody that lives in a cold climate adjusts to that soon enough. If running through snow and getting all your gear wet and getting yourself wet and frostbite, is what you want to do, then that's cool. I did plenty of that in my life, and I would rather not do it now. And I'll be honest, there's times like at the rifle range where I'll pull the car in sideways and I'll just put the passenger window down and shoot inside the car. You know, run the heat and shoot inside the car. So I think I don't know. I definitely do not enjoy being cold anymore. I've had frostbite on my ears, my hands, my feet, you know, your eye or your nose, all that stuff. So I'm not a fan of getting that cold anymore. But I grew up on a farm, so that was just the way it was. No matter how much you bundled up, no matter how hard you tried to stay warm, you just couldn't. Um, for real, do that one time. You'll never forget gloves. I don't forget gloves anyway. I keep gloves in all my coat pockets, and I have a couple spare pairs I keep in my vehicles. So, like I said, I've had frostbite. I definitely dress for the weather. But, I mean, no offense, if I were out there shooting and I forgot my gloves, yeah, I would still shoot and be cold doing it. But there's definitely more fun things to do than being cold. It is interesting. I don't know if any of y'all load your ammunition, but it is interesting to chronograph your ammunition in sub-zero weather versus like 80 or 90 degree weather with humidity. It's real interesting how cold weather and heat affects your ammunition velocity wise. And I mean, you zero your gun in sub-zero, and then the next time you use it's middle of summer, you're going to have a pretty significant point of impact shift. So never chronoed your rounds? No. We do a lot of testing with that when we switch guns, bullet types, or powders. We chrono just to make sure we're making that power factor. If I'm running light on power factor, I want to know that I'm cheating and not just think I am, But generally, everything is a 125 power factor for minor. So we generally run like a 135, sometimes a 140. So we more than make power factor. In my race gun, minimum power factor is 165, and I usually run like a 172, which works for me. That way, when they chrono your loads, you have leeway there. You're always good. Anyone else ever see a Glock 17L for the first time and just get starstruck for a bit? No, I did have one though. Years ago, I had one. It was, I can't remember the police agency, but it came from somewhere in South America. They had them for service pistols, and then they put them on the surplus market, and I bought one. I had it back in, I think, like 2004. I bought it for USPSA, and then I found out it wasn't legal for USPSA. It was too long. So, yeah, chrono and loads is important. Too fast or too slow can really have some adverse effects on things. And you can go by, you can look at what the book says, this much powder should give you roughly this charge. And from our experiences, the book is close, but it's not exact. You definitely need to chrono your loads. And every bullet type, you can buy a 124 grain round nose from 8 different manufacturers, load it with the same powder charge, same overall length, the same crimp, and you'll have different velocities from every brand. So it's kind of an important thing to know. If you're shooting plated bullets, most plated bullets actually have a maximum velocity. Like Barry's plated bullets for 9mm bullets are like 1,250 feet per second. So it's not bad. Most of the time you're not going to load it that hot, but that matters if you're going to use it for like 9mm major. You can't push them that fast. So then they have, like Barry's has double plated bullets, and they have a max velocity of 1,500 feet per second. So with them, you can run them for major. But I use RMR. Yeah, it'd be worth chronoing your load sometime just to see what you're actually at. It's good science, you know. That's like a friend of mine told me when he taught me to reload. You know, there's two types of reloaders. You got the reloaders that reload because or shoot because they want to reload. They like the science of it. They like experimentation. They like tinkering. And then you have shooters that reload because they want to shoot. So there's definitely two types of reloaders out there. I reload because I like to shoot, but I do like the science of things. I like, you know, experimentation with overall links, bullet manufacturers, brass manufacturers, primer manufacturers, and just seeing it's interesting to get results. It's science, you know. When we have things that work, I don't necessarily always go back and experiment, but like when I got my checkmates, I bet you I have 80 different loads I worked on. So, which gun is your favorite? I'm really a fan of the Yeet Cannon. It's probably one of my favorite guns. It's just like I was talking to you about casting bullets, Joe. It's kind of why I got into casting. It's interesting to start playing with the hardness and softness and different bullet lubes and how it affects the cartridge. So I don't play with that as much as I used to. With my kids shooting now, we shoot strictly plated bullets or copper jacketed, but you know. But if y'all haven't, be sure to double tap that screen for me. It's always appreciated. It's a great way to support a channel. But honestly, Cheon, however you say your name, it depends on what I'm doing with the gun. You know, I have a favorite 22 pistol, I have a favorite service gun, I have a favorite rifle. So it's not like I have one gun that's hands down my most favorite of everything I own. I have some guns that have sentimental value, you know. So it kind of depends on what I'm doing with a gun. I can basically break most of my stuff up between a competition style handgun, competition rifle, and then a long range rifle. You know, in each one of them I would have a competition 22. I would have a competition, you know, 9mm or something else. So, you know, things like that. And I do have things that are just fun to play with. Speaking of powder charges, the 8.6 has a lot less powder than I thought it would, but I thought it would. But I mean, it makes sense considering the projectile is longer than the casing. Yeah, I do like 50 cals, and I actually have one on the channel. Chris, what's going on? So, thing with people don't realize for like how cartridges work. It all works on case capacity, right? Consider a cartridge case like a cylinder on a car. If you have a larger projectile and it's taking up that space in that cartridge case, there's less space, less room for powder. So heavier the bullet, the lighter the powder charge. Lighter the bullet, the more powder. Yeah, I like 50 cals. I have a Barrett M82. The 8.6 is kind of an interesting cartridge. We had an opportunity to shoot one at GunCon. It's nothing I would buy myself, but it's definitely a very interesting firearm. Interesting concept, you know, but it's interesting because they built that to go take down Cape Buffalo. That was their whole idea behind it, you know. But, you know, the right bullet, I guess it works. So, Hector's going to be running 3 Honda Civics with spoon engines. And on top of that, he's just came in, Harry's, and ordered. Okay. Well, Maverick, I appreciate that. I'm not sure how that relates to what we got going on here, but cool. That little one is a North American Arms. It's 22 long rifle. It's five shot revolver. They make a 22 short version of that. That's just a little bit smaller. It's one of the smallest handguns on the market. It's not the smallest, but it's one of the smallest ones. I would love to say it's accurate and it's fun to shoot. It's kind of fun to shoot because it acts like it's a little magnum. It wants to come out your hand, but it's not very accurate at all. It's easily concealed, and it's better than nothing, right? So if you're wearing shorts or something, you know, if you're a jogger, right, you could have that in your jogging pants, and if you had a dog or something, it would work, you know. My EDC is a Glock 26 Gen 5. I've carried every version of Glock 26, Gen 3, Gen 4, and Gen 5. So, you know, Maverick, if you sell those cars, you might just be able to afford one box of 8.6. Yeah, 8 point. What does a box of 8.6 go for? Like I said, I've never priced it. It's I don't really have a use for that cartridge. If I won a gun somewhere in a raffle or something and that's the caliber, then I would, but I don't see a use for anything I want to use it for. But I am curious how much a box goes for. So we'll see you at Race Wars. Yep, I'll be right there, man. You won't be able to miss me. I got the Dodge Caravan. I think that's what the minivans are called. I believe right around 70 for $20. How many guns do you have in total? Honestly, I don't know the exact total right now. I know we're over a couple hundred. Another few weeks I'll have to go through again and relog everything we have for insurance. But that's a long, tedious process. Orange Smoke, how are you doing, man? Hope your day's going good. What kind of snowblower are you looking at? I think getting excited over a snowblower is the sign of that you've matured as an adult. I remember a few years ago I went and bought a brand new Husqvarna snowblower, and dude, that was like the most exciting thing I ever did. You know. But I'm not a fan of snow, but I do enjoy running the snowblower. That fucking thing throws the snow all the way across the street into the neighbor's front yard. Minimum power factor for Cowboy 60. Yeah, super low velocity. I'd be concerned. I think the only thing I would be concerned about is getting a squib in one of them. But was looking at the Huskies, but probably wind up with Aaron's. Yeah. Aaron's are made in Wisconsin. I don't know if you knew that. They're made in Burlington, about 40 minutes from where I'm at. Thoughts on the Hellcat Pro? I don't really have anything to say about a Hellcat Pro, neither in positive nor negative. It's not a gun I've used. I've handled them, but I haven't used them, so nothing one way or another for it. Bro, I don't know much English. I'm sorry. You're good, man. I'm not offended. I can understand exactly what you're saying. Desert Armory and more. How are you doing, man? Hope your day's going good. It happens occasionally, yeah. I imagine you got a squib rod that you guys take with you. Mason, what's going on with you, man? How's your day going? I was going to ask you, and I know you hit that deer with your car. Is your car repairable? My cousin bought one, and it came with extra mags and a target showing how it outgrouped. Yeah, I mean, they seem like they're accurate. It's definitely a big boy cartridge, you know, but that's not something you're going to go target shooting. It's good for big game, you know, but I think a lot of the stuff I've seen, you know, they're using solid copper projectiles and stuff. So just bought the ACI 41 northbound as a complete shit show. Just got to ACI. I'm not sure what ACI is. I'm not sure what ACI is. Doing well. Just about to head out for some channel content. Teaser, it's Western Theme. There you go. I'll check it out. Yeah, roads are shitty here too. It was supposed to stop snowing, but I think we got, dude, I think they're like 50-mile-an-hour winds, maybe even more. It's all of 50. Fucking tree across the street fell over. It's not, this roads are slippery because it's like on the verge, or was earlier, freezing, not freezing. Oh, advanced coatings, okay. Now I know exactly where you're at. Right on Oregon. The winds, yeah, they're pretty bad. It's 40, 50-mile-an-hour winds here. Yeah, there's no snow to really plow. It's just a dusting on everything, but it's definitely slippery. We had an errand and I let Gage drive, and I was telling him, man, the roads are slippery, slow down. And I was hollering at him, and he come into a corner, and I was just telling him, now take your time. And he hit the corner, and I almost hit the curb. He slid. Pretty shitty, you know. But we all got to figure it out. So we got probably 8 to 10, but it's drifted. Yeah, that's a pretty good snowfall. We're supposed to on Saturday. It looks like we're gonna get 6 inches on Saturday. Shop quoted $8,000 to fix my car. I think it'll get totaled. The blue book value is 12. That's all right. That's a nice little car though. They're calling 4 to 8 on Saturday. Yeah, so we're 4 to 6 is what I saw a little while ago. If y'all got 40, 50-mile-per-hour winds, I hate to see how Tyler, Massachusetts is. Yeah, I don't know. Tires and rims aren't cheap. No, they're not. But it was okay. He didn't hit anything. His ass puckered, and then he saw exactly what was supposed to happen. He got nervous and started driving with caution. You know, you can tell a kid that, but until they experience it, you know. My buddy that lives in northern Wisconsin was supposed to get 26, but I haven't heard from him today. Yeah, they start getting hit with that lake effect snow from Superior, Michigan. But you know, winter's here. That's the fact of it. I'm kind of glad that it made it this long before it really started getting cold. It's been cool, but for this time of year, it's actually been kind of warm. But it's getting cold now. So, all good. He'll remember that oh crap feeling and hopefully try to. Yeah, he will. Hopefully, you know. And I tell him, you know, like, hey, you know, increase your following distance. Hey, you know, where you start braking, usually coming up to an intersection, you got to slow down way before that. That's going to be slippery, and that's just he's going to get in an accident. I know that. I just don't want it to be with my car. So, I'm not sure how to say your name, Silam. But how are you doing? Hope you're doing well. Yeah, I'm surprised you haven't went and shot it yet. I mean, I can understand not wanting to go stand out in the cold, but, you know, put the passenger window down and let a couple go. Make sure you get footage of it. I know them 460 rolling kits are pretty badass when you do the conversion. A 460 rolling's a pretty hot cartridge. I'll let him tell you, because you're asking him, but if he doesn't hurry up and type fast enough, I'll tell you. There you go. Pretty slick gun. You know, it looks like you got a great deal. You said you had 6 magazines for it. And them are 15 rounders too, aren't they? I don't recall. I think they're 15 rounders, so. Do you have a PS? I assume PS90. Yes, I have a PS90. Oh yeah, that's badass. Good choice. Yep. In many cases, it isn't you; it's the others doing. It is. It is. And that's too. That's why you, 4 megs. That's why you increase your following distance, and that's why you slow down sooner. Because if you're slowing down sooner, when that asshole behind you hits that ice that you slowed down for, you can at least have a little room to get out of the way if you need to. That's why I'm glad for indoor pistol range 2 minutes from home this year. Yeah, we have to go up to Appleton, and it's okay. But it's, I mean, you get to stand there and shoot at a target, you know, from point blank to 25 yards, you know. That's okay for like some weak hand shooting or strong hand shooting, but it gets old pretty fast. But my daughter absolutely refuses to shoot indoors. She hates it. She shoots junior marksmanship and ripon indoors, but she won't come to the regular pistol range with us. We took her one time with us, and there was a couple guys there with AR pistols and letting them go pretty hard. And I mean, I get it. They were loud, they were concussive, but she absolutely did not have a good time. So that's unfortunate, you know. But yeah, hope you're safe too, man. I don't know if you're out of here, if that's why you're saying be safe, but if you are out of here, I wish you the best. Thanks for stopping. If not, I'll ignore that. But you know, the other cool thing about this time of year is it's gun show time. All right, man. I appreciate you stopping in, asking questions. I hope you subscribe to the channel. If not, consider doing so. I assume you probably hit the like, so thank you for that. And you have a good one, man. Hopefully I see you another time. The best part is usually the only one there. Yeah, so, you know, depending on what times you go to the indoor ranges, but this time of year, if you go on a Saturday, you know, afternoon, evening, it's packed. So, it's okay though. I'm still here, just general statement. All right, man. I appreciate that. Hey, Mason, are you still here? I don't know if he's still here, if he split. When I lived in North Carolina, there was an indoor range under a gas station, a little sketchy LL. But, you know, it's probably fine. You know, shooting... So, cool, Mason. We have some matches coming up. I think I said something the other day about them. Saturday matches. There's a January, a February, and a March. Saturday mornings in Lodi. If you're interested, when the open enrollment opens, get signed up for that, because we're going to go. We can scoop you up on the way, or you could make your own way there. But I know you said your winter time was a little easier for you to do stuff, so definitely check out some of them indoor matches. The short barrel 7.62 guys with muzzle brakes always get the lane next to me at my range. yeah, they do. Hey man, I admit though, I can be that guy too. I got my little shorty that I like to shoot, and that thing just, it makes people walk out of the range until I'm done. So it's very concussive. It's painful. One second. Can't move my notebook on me. Give me 1 second. So the match in January 17th, enrollment opens at 9 a.m. December 21st. The WGC indoor match for December 20th is already open. So we signed up for that one already. And then the other two are in Clintonville. And open enrollment is on January 18th for the February 8th match at 8:30. And then the other Clintonville match in March 8th. Enrollment opens at 8:30 on February 22nd. So the last two are both IDPAs. The other ones are USPSA. And there's some more that we'll get signed up for, but them are the short ones for right now. I personally prefer shooting outside. I've been a member of a local ranges, but with all my rules, it gets boring fast for me. Yeah, it does. It's I don't mind shooting USPSA or IDPA matches indoors. It's definitely not as much fun as it is outside, but it's kind of the necessity if you want to shoot in the winter. Yeah, if you want them that dates or anything else, let me know and I'll send them to you again. I saw a shotgun made by Panzer that, get this, looks like 870, but the barrel is M-lock and is lever action. My only question is why? Hey, why not? You know, that's ultimately that's why not. At least somebody's trying to do something innovative. You know, um, it might seem like a cocaine adventure at 4 a.m., but you know, at least somebody's trying something different. You know, and sometimes that goofy shit like that, as long as it works, it sometimes becomes a lot of fun to play with. Like for instance, that KSG 12 we have. I mean, there's no practical use to that gun, but it is fun to play with. It's goofy, you know. But after a few of those in January and February, I'm fishing or doing my outdoor shoot. Yeah, if you can't go, you can't go. I try to share that information. Like I told you guys before, that's the whole goal of the channel, is to try to encourage people to get out and shoot, and to go shoot a match. You become a much better marksman when you're shooting in a competition setting. And it doesn't mean you have to be a professional to go. You just have to go. You know, you learn a lot about gun handling really, really fast. And it's more fun. I mean, standing on a firing line gets boring pretty quick. I lost it here. I like them grips on the 1911. I'm waiting for some new grips for yours. There you go. I've had them a long time. I think they date back to like 2008 maybe. There's actually a date on them. A guy made them by hand. Yeah, you can't really see the date on them. Realized I can't run my 45 can on the FN. It doesn't have a booster. Gonna need another one now, I guess. Have you tried to run it? Sometimes, even though they're supposed to have a booster, they'll still run. Yeah, matches are a great way to meet people, you know. Thing is probably 85% of the people you meet at a match, they're cool people. You know, they're down to earth, they're, you know, good people to be around. And you get the other guys there that are just pricks. And that is what it is. It's that way with anything. But most of the people at matches are cool people and you can relate to them. It does become like, it's a whole little community, just like racing is, just like, you know, anything. But, you know, you start shooting with people and next thing you know, you're traveling the country with them or the state with them. You're, hey, I'll see you in 2 weeks here or 2 weeks there, you know. Cookin, how are you doing, man? Hope your day's going good. I imagine you're probably at work, so appreciate you stopping in and saying what's up. It can be cold, but that's the price of freedom, I guess. Yeah. That's the way to go, Rob. Sorry, Yankee phone. But, like, when I first started shooting USPSA, I started in the fall, and everything I shot was all indoors. You know, it was kind of amazing once we started shooting outdoors, and it's like, man, look at how far the targets are away, because obviously your distance becomes a lot more. So, yep, you get the gun snobs. That's why I don't shoot trap. Yeah, that happens. The range is open in winter down there. Yes. So, and like ripping the old side, they don't plow. So as long as your truck can get through the snow, you can get through it. But the pistol side and the public side, they plow. So you can shoot there year round. They close it, like right now it closed for deer hunting and it won't open up again until like the second week in December. But yeah, you can shoot there year round. The club I belong to anyway. Um, it's not like, oh, it's Christmas, you can't go out shooting. No, I've went out shooting on Christmas. I've taken the kids out there shooting. You know, Thanksgiving, it's closed because of deer hunting and shit. But you know, I hope rebedding my stock on my rifle will help tighten up my groups. You know, sometimes people think like they're having issues with the bedding on the stock or something. Have you taken a good look at your bore? Is it smooth? Is it rough? You have any fire cracking in it? I still understand why local indoor ranges won't let you draw from holsters when that's exactly what would happen in most cases in defense situations. Liability. There's a lot of people that discharge a firearm on a draw. Um, the indoor range we go to, they used to do what was called holster certified, and of course we were certified. Everybody got certified to shoot an indoor match, and then they closed or they changed names. They sold out, and now they don't let people do it again. So, and I think that's part of the reason they don't shoot matches there anymore, because you'd be drawn from a holster. But it's strictly for liability. I have to take a ride this winter and hook up with you, try some stuff. I'll send old lady and kid. She shops down there. There you go. We can do that. Let's just pick a good day for it. So if we wanted to shoot the 50, we would be limited to 200 yards. Unless there's no snow on the ground, then we can go down to the old side and we can shoot out to 600. But yeah, anytime you want to go, just let me know. I don't even know if it's attorneys, it's damn negligent people, you know. People, you got to learn to walk before you learn how to run. And learning how to draw and holster safely, you shouldn't be learning it your first time or doing it your first time with live ammunition. You know, a couple people get hurt. Well, you know, think about it. Some ranges, man, you know, I've seen footage, I'm sure y'all have, where they have like guns locked into cables and shit. Outdoor ranges where they have like a wall built up, so you have to lean down, you can only shoot in a certain angle. You know, that's all. That isn't because somebody one day said, hey, let's do this and kind of shit on these shooters. It's because something happened. And whenever there's an accident, you have to have a corrective action to ensure it doesn't happen again. And corrective actions never give you more freedom, right? They just, you know. I mean, you go to public indoor ranges and look at the ceilings on them. You know, how the fuck do you shoot a ceiling directly in front of you? You know, but people do it, you know, all the time. You know, last year, you know, wintertime when we went up to the indoor range, fucking guy was over there doing mag dumps, and he not only shot the cable for his target holder, or whatever you want to call that, target stand, but he shot the bay next to him too. You know, and it was almost right next to each other. And it's just some young punk kid fucking mag dumping an AK, you know? So, people like that ruin it for everybody. All Rob's guns are orange and blue. There you go. But, yeah. On that note, lots of people have driver's licenses that can't drive or shouldn't, but we still drive our families around. Yeah, I agree.
Because for the past 5 years, you didn't even have to take a road test.
Kid chiming in. Life is definitely full of risks. You know, that's just it. You know, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about people buying firearms with no training or education and then being sent loose. I don't like the idea of forcing it on people, but I like the idea when a new shooter takes classes on their own to learn something, even if it's only hunter's education, just to learn how to safely handle and use a firearm. I think a lot of people should do that for their own benefit and growth, but you know. I used to and I haven't in years now, but I used to make a point every year. I used to find a class and take it, um, just to have a credential and a certificate saying that I continue my education with firearms, just in case something ever did happen. I'll have to bring some of my oddball shotguns for you to try. Like Gage Meg dumped the 10 gauge. There you go. He likes doing stupid shit like that. He's a trooper with it though. I love Nerf guns too. I was thinking about that same thing when I took my hunter safety course. Yeah, you know, I I understand, and I wouldn't agree if they forced it on people, but I think as a new shooter, or new people to firearms, or even old people that have been around firearms, it's good to have a reminder course of just return to basics and think about safety, you know. So yeah, absolutely. Subscribe and hit the button. Yeah, all courses are fun. Um, like I said, I've taken them. I took a bunch of classes from Asad Ayub. I took a bunch of NRA classes. Um, I took range officer classes, safety officer classes, uh, armor courses. I mean, I did all kinds of shit. Like I said, it used to be every year I would try to take at least one class, and I don't know. I kind of gave up on it because life got busy, but I still took the stuff. Yeah, you know, like people having to take concealed carry courses. I don't think it's a bad thing. You know, I like the idea that at least dedicate 4 hours of your time to have somebody sit down and ensure you understand what you're doing and can safely handle a firearm. I don't think it should be criminal not to go to a class. Exactly. I don't think should be mandated, but I would really like to see people. You know, maybe nothing else. Like, take a state that says, hey, uh, you can get a concealed carry permit, but if you take a class, we'll give you a free concealed carry permit. You know what I mean? Take a state-approved class, and we'll give you a free permit. That would be cool. Or these people that are getting money for state license, and like my state, take that money and put it into education. You know what I mean? That would be cool. Paul came off. Got to go shovel my tits off now. Later. All right. Talk to you later, Orange Smoke. You have a good one. California classes now and then keeps you sharp and updated on your local laws. Yeah. I was 14 on a mission trip and went into a thrift shop and was talking to my buddy about a gun, and a woman said she had gun that shot 2 bullets, then proceeded to point her tourist judge at me with it with the hammer pulled back. That's a classy move, isn't it? You know, I mean, classy. So, where do we start this?
Set up here. I won't need one for.
Another 5. Yeah, that pisses me off too. You know,
Like, okay, so do you want to take me to work then? I don't have to leave quite yet.
your mom ain't here.
No, I had to take the bus.
Okay, I can take. What time you got to be there?
I work at 5.
Yeah, we got time.
Yeah.
I'll take you, no problem. You know what the thing is you have to admit, not only opening your mind, but like accept criticism. And not only that, if you're there and you know what's going on and you've handled firearms, you have to learn to just shut up and listen and let them teach the class. You know, versus thinking to yourself, I know it all, I'm smarter than these guys. You know. I mean, I took hunter's education a few times with my kids. Gage and Harley took it together, but with Che, my oldest, I took it with him. I took it with my wife. And I took it with my sister. Now, did I need to take the class 4 or 5 times? No, I passed it the very first time with 100%. But I took it with them just to go along with them, you know. Outcast, that's the problem. Most people aren't willing. It's like they don't carry enough to improve. Yeah, I agree. Most people think they're fine just the way they are, you know. But it's even like with some of these shooting games we play, there's classes for it. my wife, when she first started shooting competition, I sent her to a woman's only course, uh, just so she could learn how to shoot. She already knew how to shoot, but learn how to play the game. Um, so yeah, we think we're all special. None of us are special. That's the thing. Everybody thinks, like you're saying, everybody thinks you're special, unique, different, better. You know, whatever. We're not. We're all the same. There's nothing. There's nothing special about any one of us. We're just another stack of skin, bones, and air. You want the Airsoft TS2? Oh, that's okay. You'll get one, man. I don't know if you're allowed to own any more CZs after buying a 2011. That's kind of like, it's kind of like once you go black, we don't want you back. You know what I mean? Well, you think that's funny or what? It's kind of a mean thing to say.
I mean, it goes right along with the joke of once you go black, you never go back.
Yeah. I agree. We're like a grain of sand on a beach. Yeah. There's nothing special about any of us. You know. I don't deserve special treatment. None of it. So sometimes people forget that there's nothing. We're just a person of experiences. That's the only thing that makes us different. The Romulus does like the 51 BS, or 51 pounds of grease I put on before range sessions. Yeah, well, at least you'll get that shit used up quick. Yeah, man. I got no problem helping you with an AR build. What I would suggest doing, Booty Bandits, is buy parts at a time. You can buy a receiver, you can buy a trigger, you can buy a barrel, you can buy your furniture. And if you split it up, you're not talking much more than $100 a crack for some of these components, you know. But it's a whole lot easier to just start buying parts and then put it together. I'll definitely help you put it together. ARs are easy. They legitimately, you can assemble an AR in about 10 minutes. Oh, I'm special, all right, special enough to grab an empty mag from my AK at the range and then wonder why my gun didn't go off. Just to realize, yeah. Well, you could be like Gage and forget to take the safety off.
Yeah, that was my best moment.
That was definitely a best moment. He didn't not only do that once that day, he did it twice. He did it twice that day. But he hasn't done it since, so it sounds like that's the gun he wants to shoot for IDPA, which is cool. You know, I'm not going to shoot it, but we bought it to shoot it. Why not shoot it? Yeah, check that stuff out. When you get questions, let me know. We'd have to talk more about that and kind of get going on what you're looking for. But sign up for Primary Arms. They get a lot of deals. Classic Firearms, they get a lot of deals and parts and stuff. So them would be two places I would check and just watch things go on sale. Even Palmetto State, they sell a lot of things that are not Palmetto State that are reasonable to buy. So just sign up for them things, and when you get your deal of the day or your weekly deals, just check on it. Sometimes it'll be worth buying, sometimes not. At least then too, you can start looking and seeing what parts are out there and kind of picture what you want to do in your head. Don't worry, with a little bit of luck, you'll do it again. I'm sure you got this. Oh yeah, he will. It happens. You know, and he knew better. You know, it's not like it was the first time he ever shot the gun. He didn't have a lot of experience with it, but you know, in the moment, you know, it is what it is. You know, it took him a second to figure it out, but as soon as he figured it out, I mean, it is what it is. And he did it a second time, and he hasn't done it since. So, you know, that's definitely a downfall to the Beretta M9 series. Is some of the stuff that's got decockers. Most things, in fact, that have a decocker. When you decock the cartridge or decock the hammer, the decockers are spring-loaded, so they pop back up and go into firing position. But Berettas are not that way, which is kind of lame. But you know, CZs, Smith and Wessons. I don't know. Most other things are Tauruses, but they're not for whatever reason. which again, it's fine, you know. Whenever you add a timer and people watching, you induce a certain amount of stress, which is good, you know. Muscle memory that's learned under stress is retained for a long time. So there's nothing wrong with that. Oh, whatever you're thinking before the timer goes off is great, but once the beep goes, your mind goes back. Absolutely. Best stage plans go out the window as soon as that timer goes beep. My question is, how in God's name does the gun not go off? I mean, the hammer slaps some authority. What do you mean in the decocker? Because it actually blocks the firing pin. When you press down on the lever, the part you don't see, it comes up and it blocks the firing pin, and that's why it doesn't go off. Like that's how most manual safeties work on pistols. It either stops the trigger from moving, or it blocks the firing pin. So, I mean, pretty genius design. Like my little Walther 22, it doesn't have a decocker, but it has a manual safety. You put the safety on, and the gun behaves just like normal. You know, your trigger cocks, drops, trigger works. So if you're not familiar with that gun and the safety's on, you spend a second to figure out what's going on while your gun isn't firing. And I only say that because I've actually had people out shooting with me that were playing with that gun and watched them click away and the gun isn't working for them. And that's what it was, is the safety was still on. But it's a good thing, you know, and like for us, I myself and my kids, they have a lot of exposure to a lot of different types of firearms. That's why I have so many different things. Is they function different, they work different, they shoot differently, and I like priding myself on my ability to pick up most firearms and shoot them well, you know, better than some people would. So I like to work with. I'm not going to say train with, but I'm going to say I like to work with a variety of firearms. You know, there's very few things in the world that I haven't handled or wouldn't be able to figure out within a second or two of how this system runs. So I know you're not an M&P guy for some crazy reason, but got any thoughts on the new 22 handgun? It looks nice. So understand this, like why I don't have M&Ps. If you look at what I have platforms. You know, we have the Gersan Beretta. Them take the same magazines and same holsters. The Mark IV 22s, they take all the same holsters, or all the same magazines. The CZs, they either take a standard CZ75 magazine, or they take a tactical sport magazine. So I don't have, you know, 100 guns that are all different and take different support, different magazines, different holsters. It's just because of what we do with them. It makes things a lot easier when I don't have to buy a half dozen magazines and new holsters and new mag pouches for a new gun. That's why I don't. I stick to platforms. So, you know, the M&Ps are nice guns. I don't think you've ever heard me say they're not nice, because they are. They're great guns. I just, you know, for what I'm doing with it, they don't offer anything more than a platform I currently have. So unless there's something to gain by buying another gun, I just not going to buy it. You know. But that's why I have the 2 Checkmates and the 3 TSOs, because they all take the same magazines. So having the same gear and stuff, having the same gear that you can use multiple platforms, it really helps the cost. Now for a new guy, you know, would I tell you to go buy an M&P? Absolutely. Would I tell you to go buy a Glock? Absolutely. Go find the things that, until you experience a lot of different types of platforms, you can't really decide what one has to offer over the next. You know, Beyond Raging Bullets, how are you? You know, So it's kind of the same reason like my 1911s are all 45, because I don't know, I bet you I have 20 magazines for 1911s, 7 rounders, 8 rounders, 10 rounders. You know, I would like a 10 millimeter one, but then I got to start all over buying 10 millimeter magazines. You know, my main calibers, you know, are 22 long rifle, of course, 9 millimeter 45, and then 223 and 308. That's all because of having components, primers, bullets, brass to reload. You know, you start throwing a bunch of other calibers in there, and it makes it really difficult to have the support and equipment or support and system in place to have it. I should say 7.62 by 39 also. Have a whole shitload for that stuff. What time's your mom done?
Send her a message. I don't know when she's going to be done.
Booty Bandit, I got mine off Amazon for $30. It's not great, but it does its job safe. The holster, yeah. See, that's the thing too, like, for me being left-handed, most of the holsters I had made. You can all go online right now and find a cheap Glock holster or a cheap Beretta holster for right-handed, but go online and find a cheap left-handed Beretta holster, you know, or a cheap competition holster. They're hard to get a hold of being left-handed. It raises the cost generally, and they're a lot harder to find. That's why I still don't have a holster for my DWX. I'm not a fan of spending $200 on a holster, and that's I have to do it. So
that's for a generic, widely used gun.
Better deal to buy big and have millions of rounds available to find or buy across the world. Yeah.
You know, like some of the stuff you had to have custom made because it could not be found.
Yep, I'm left-handed as well. Hard to find good holsters. It is really hard to find good holsters. So it's fine, you know. Like most people, I can shoot right-handed. I can run a gun efficient and effectively right-handed. I'm maybe not quite as fast on the trigger just because of lining up sights going from left eye to right eye, but I can do it. Anyone looking for a cheap holster for a Desert Eagle? I'll help you. It's not cheap. LOL. Yeah. My Desert Eagle is just a safe queen. We don't shoot it much. Maybe once, twice a year. That's about it. Had to train yourself to shoot right-handed rifles. Like I said, I can shoot right-handed. I don't. I'm left-handed. So everything I do, it's more natural. But like being left-handed, a person has to learn how to do a lot of things right-handed. But like, here's a good one for using scissors or a can opener. I can't use a regular can opener. To this day, I can't open a can with a can opener. I have to have somebody do it because I can't function it left-handed, and I don't know how right-handed people hold them, because they make it look easy, right? But yeah. I ask my kid, I can't open a can with a can opener. It's next to impossible. Scissors, I learned how to use a right-handed scissors, but it's not natural, you know. So it's just weird things that, you know, most people wouldn't think of, you know. But like in industrial settings and stuff, you know, if you're working with the machines or equipment, you have to do things right-handed, you know. It never feels normal or natural. You know, that's why like running chainsaws, saws, grinders and all that stuff is extremely dangerous for a left-handed person to do it. Learning to make leather holsters, there you go. That's definitely a good thing. I'm sure, actually I know you've connected with Arizona Kid. Hit him up. He's a super cool dude. He's from Minnesota too. Super cool dude. Definitely talented leather worker. He sent out Gage and Harley some holsters for their Ruger Wranglers. They played with them a little bit. We had a second video to publish, and it got corrupted, so we never published it. So when it gets warm out, we'll redo the video. when you said right-handed scissors, I thought the words right-handed hammer for some reason. I may need professional help. Yeah, yeah. Scissors. Most scissors are right-handed scissors, so they make left-handed ones. But yeah, it's just one of them things. You know, I can shoot both hands with pistols. There you go. Like I said, I can do it. You know, I've shown my kids this. You know, we'll goof around or something, and you know, but you know, my daughter gets mad when we'll be shooting because I'll start shooting right-handed with her, and be like, oh, it's possible, you know, or we'll be shooting a plate rack and she'll miss. I'm like, oh, here, let me try, and I'll hit it with my left hand. Yep, the gun's good, and I'll shoot it with the right hand and give it back to her, and it's funny. I'm just giving her a hard time, but that's something that as you guys shoot, be sure to practice your weak hand. You know, your left side. Like for USPSA and IDPA, it's actually a really huge thing that very few practice, and you'll be amazed how your stand-ins in an overall match will place when you're proficient with your weak hand shooting. I mean, you'll gain 10 spots in a leaderboard just by being proficient, being able to do it weak-handed.
Yeah, bigger matches. Smaller people-sized matches, you can still gain like 5.
But it's important. You know, it's a good skill. So I think our live is pretty well died out. So I'm gonna end this. Doesn't pay to go any longer. So I appreciate you guys hanging out, man. I'm glad you all were here. If you haven't, double tap that screen for me. If you have, thank you. And so I probably won't talk to any of you before Thanksgiving now. I hope you all have a great Thanksgiving. Stay safe. Keep your family safe. And we'll catch all you guys later. John Winks, you be good too, man. I'm glad you stuck around. And you guys have a great day. What's left of it.